Hey friends, it's Doc Wallace. I'm camped out in Fort Tryon Park. Well, not literally camped out, but I'm hanging out on a good old piece of Manhattan schist, one of the rocks that forms the bedrock of New York City. And it's all over the place in some of the parks, and it's great for climbing. And I just wanted to take a minute to answer a few questions from Hike with Doc Episode 2, the Steep Mountain Bushwhack. And so the first comment came from a good friend of mine, John Carter, and JC wrote me and he said, you know what? I really would have loved to have heard some music on that last video, like specifically viola music. And John, I agree with you 100%. I mean, that was one of my big dilemmas in starting to post hiking videos is, first and foremost, this channel is a music channel. And even if there's hikes, it would make sense to have some music. However, I really wanted to include these hikes because they're a big part of my inspiration. They're also a big part of just how I stay in shape and how I keep in touch with the spiritual side of life that matters very much to me. And some of these videos that I'm uploading are old, and the editing was done quite some time ago. So it's a little bit complex to try to go back, re-edit, cut out the parts I don't like, trim them. And that seems like far more work than the videos merit, because these were home videos that were shot for my own benefit and for close family. But yes, I will take your comment into account, and I will try to include music or a little, what I like to call a musical Easter egg within these hikes, so that there's a musical moment maybe when you least expect it. So thank you, John. That's a very good point. And the second comment comes from Brianna, one of the cello rock stars. You really need to see them play. I had the privilege of meeting both her and her friend Estefan in person a couple of weeks ago, and it was a really exciting thing because it was a concert that Wynton Marsalis was playing in Avery Fisher Hall with the New York Philharmonic, and their orchestra, some of the students were coming, and I was giving the pre-concert talks for all the grown-ups that night, so we were able to meet and hand off some music. So hey, I really appreciate both you and Estefan keeping in touch. But I wanted to address Brianna's comment, you look so tired all the time in that video. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Yes, I do look tired at times. For one thing, all that hiking was occurring at about 9,000 feet elevation or higher, so the oxygen is thin, and I hadn't yet acclimated. If you spend a week, or even better, 2 weeks at a high elevation, then you start to get more red blood cells in your bloodstream. Your blood does all these different things that helps your brain and your muscles get more oxygen. But until that happens, you do get tired faster, you get shorter breath faster, and when you do really steep hiking like I was doing on that particular hike, then you just get winded. So the problem is I was taking the time to film when I was catching my breath, which is a good note for me for future videos. Catch your breath, Wallace, before you talk to the rest of the world, at least some of the time. So the other thing is, I was not in the best shape of my life then physically, and I'm happy to say that I got in much better shape. But if you let yourself get out of shape, and stop running or stop working out, even for a week, you will feel the difference, and you won't be able to perform as well as you want to, both in music and in life. So I urge everybody to exercise every day, even if it's just walking. I am getting swarmed by mosquitoes and eaten alive, but hey, it's worth it to be out in this beautiful day. Just look at this. Yeah. New York City is a beautiful place, and you're never far from wilderness. You're also never far from buildings. See if you can see one through there. Yep. Or traffic. You can see there's a road down there too. That's actually Broadway. That's the north end of Broadway, way on up. I guess we're probably around 200th Street, West 200th. Or something like that. Anyway, getting back to your question, Brianna. A couple of other reasons why I might seem tired. One reason is that hiking is what I do to release stress. It totally mellows me out. And so I think when I'm teaching, I'm very upbeat and very high energy, And when I'm hiking, oftentimes I'm very reflective and very quiet and very calm. And in fact, sometimes that freaks people out, that when I'm in a period of downtime, I totally relax and I'm very calm. And some people are like, gee, why aren't you being the life of the party 24/7? It's because, you know what, you can't, or I can't, or I like to be a very chill person at times. And so because those videos were made for myself, I wasn't performing and I wasn't really caring so much about what my energy level was. But by golly, if you are making videos for YouTube, you do need that stage presence and that energy. So, you know, the chances are my hiking videos from now on, you may not see Mellow Dave as much as you do in the Steep Mountain Bushwhack or the other hikes from that summer. And then the other thing that I want to say is this series of 5 hikes, which I'll be posting, is part of a very strong week of hiking that I did in 2010, and it was during one of the worst times in my life. And I just said, you know what, forget everything else. I'm going to take about 10 days and go to Colorado, and I'm going to be by myself, and I'm going to hike, and I'm going to experience beauty in God's creation, and I'm going to renew my soul, and I'm going to renew my strength. And those hikes really did that, because here's the thing. I started having so much anxiety. Well, not so much anxiety, but you know, I could tell I was under so much stress that I actually started taking my blood pressure, and it was getting pretty high. But you know what? I found out that from the hiking, by getting myself in better shape, I got my blood pressure lower, but also by watching the videos, I could watch the video and you know what? I would get more calm, I would get more relaxed, and I would take my blood pressure and it would be great. And so that was also a big life lesson, is that the things that you love and the activities that feed your spirit and give you joy are very important things to pursue, Brianna. So I want you to be sure that in addition to all your great cello playing and hanging out with friends and the other things that you do, ask yourself, well, what really feeds my soul, and what am I going to do to make sure that that's part of every day? Every day somebody needs something to look forward to, and for me, spending time outside and hiking is one of those things that I can always look forward to, and it always gets me out of bed. So thank you, John, thank you, Brianna, and thank you everybody else for watching these videos and going with me on some of those hikes and seeing that part of my musicianship, which may not always be obviously musical. Take care.